was impossible. In the first place, a desired effect might be achieved through any number of modes, any of which represented a lifetime of study, each deriving its force from a different coercive environment. The great magicians of Grand Mothalem were sufficiently supple that they perceived the limits of human understanding and spent most of their efforts dealing with practical problems, searching for abstract principles only when all else failed. For this reason, magic retains its distinctly human flavor, even though the activating agents are never human. A casual glance into one of the basic catalogs emphasizes this human orientation. The nomenclature has a quaint and archaic flavor. Looking into, for instance, Chapter 4 of Killiclaw's Primer of Practical Magic, Interpersonal Effectuations, one notices, indicted in bright purple ink, such terminology as Zarfajo's Physical Malapsy, Arnholt's Sequestrius Digitalia, Luther Brasnose's 12-fold Bounty, The Spell of Forlorn Insistment, Tinkler's Old-Fashioned Frust, Clambard's Reign of Long Nerves, The Green and Purple Postponement of Joy, Panguire's Triumphs of Discomfort, Lugweiler's Dismal Itch, Kulip's Nasal Enhancement, Roddel's Pervasion of the Incorrect Chord. A spell, in essence, corresponds to a code or set of instructions inserted into the sensorium of an entity which is able and not unwilling to alter the environment in accordance with the message conveyed by the spell. These entities are not necessarily intelligent, nor even sentient, and their conduct, from the tyro's point of view, is unpredictable, capricious, and dangerous. The most pliable and cooperative of these creatures range from the lowly and frail elementals through the Sandestans. More fractious entities are known by the Temujin as Daihak, which include demons and gods. A magician's power derives from the abilities of the entities he is able to control. Every magician of consequence employs one or more Sandestans. A few archmagicians of Grand Mothalem dared to employ the force of the lesser Daihaks. To recite, or even to list the names of these magicians, is to evoke wonder and awe. Their names tingle with power. Some of Grand Mothalem's most notable and dramatic were Fandale the Great, Amberlin the First, Amberlin the Second, Dibarchus Mayor, who studied under Fandale, Archmage Mael Lelio. He lived in a palace carved from a single moonstone. The Valpurials, the Green and Purple College, Zingzin, the Encyclopedist, Cairol, a Porphyrynchos, Calanctus, the Calm, Lorio, the Sorceress. The magicians of the 21st Eon were, in comparison, a disparate and uncertain group, lacking both grandeur and consistency. Chapter 1. The Mirth. 1. One cool morning toward the middle of the 21st Eon, Rhialto sat at breakfast in the east cupola of his manse Fallu. On this particular morning the old sun rose behind a curtain of frosty haze to cast a wan and poignant light across Low Meadow. For reasons Rhialto could not define, he lacked appetite for his breakfast and gave only desultory attention to a dish of watercress, stewed persimmon, and sausage, in favor of strong tea and a rusk. Then, despite a dozen tasks awaiting him in his workroom, he sat back in his chair to gaze absently across the meadow, toward Ware Woods. In this mood of abstraction, his perceptions remained strangely sensitive. An insect settled upon the leaf of a nearby aspen tree. Rhialto took careful note of the angle at which it crooked its legs and the myriad red glints in its bulging eyes. Interesting and significant, thought Rhialto. After absorbing the insect's full import, Rhialto extended his attention to the landscape at large. He contemplated the slope of the meadow as it dropped toward the Tees and the distribution of its herbs. He studied the crooked